A Montgomery College professor, a state delegate, an 8-term congresswoman, a U.S. ambassador, and a supermom who raised 9 children throughout her life and career. Connie Morella has excelled in virtually everything she's taken on, and we're catching up with Connie next on Campus Conversations. Welcome to Campus Conversations. I'm Steve Simon. Connie Morella is a former Montgomery College professor, state delegate, congresswoman, and United States ambassador. Recently, she came back to Montgomery College to receive an honorary degree and to present the commencement address to the class of 2008.
Keep learning. It's a lifelong process. Be enthusiastic about what you do. Attitude is altitude. Take chances. No guts, no glory. And serve your community and the country you call home. So my wish for you is to share in abundance the 4 pleasures of life: learning, loving, creating, and serving. I want to congratulate you on your achievement and wish you the very best in your new adventure. Thank you.
Joining us now in the studio is the aforementioned Connie Morella. And Connie, what a pleasure it is to have you today on Campus Conversations.
Thank you, Steve. I'm delighted to be here at Campus Conversations.
What a lot of people don't know, just from watching this show, is that we're actually in a building that you used to spend a lot of time at many years ago as a faculty member at Montgomery College. So I want to start right there and first talk a little bit about your opportunity to have been in the classroom with students at Montgomery College. What do you remember from those days? That was back from 1970 to 1985.
Coming here is really like going home again. I spent 15 years on the 5th floor of this particular building. I get very nostalgic when I come near the campus, and particularly coming into this building. So I believe in education, and obviously I believe in Montgomery College. And I have seen, Steve, how it has expanded through that period of time. It's pretty remarkable. When I started in 1970, it was before the Germantown campus. That was kind of a dream. Tacoma Park, of course, had been there before Rockville. And now when I see the state of art, the state of the equipment, the state of the courses that are being offered, the fact that 170 countries are represented by the student body, I find Montgomery College affordable, as much as any college can be, accessible. It's accessible to its clientele, to the students of all ages, and flexible, offering all kinds of programs, offering programs for those who want to return to hone up skills, those who want to return for another education, those who want to transfer. Those
well, we could get you to do our advertising campaign with all that kind of
Well, you could, because I really believe it.
What about the students? Today the campus is much changed, but talk a little bit about the opportunity to be in the classroom at teaching at any level. Before that, you were a high school. You taught
right.
in Montgomery County schools,
yes,
as well. So teaching is a real love for you.
It is indeed a love for me. As a matter of fact, can I go back even earlier than that?
Sure.
Because my very first job teaching in Montgomery County was at Poolesville High School, and this was the year of integration for Montgomery County. And Poolesville High School was the only place where there was any difficulty in the community, because people just didn't believe in having both races in the school system. And there is a man who is a math teacher at Perry High School who wrote in a book, and I found out about it through a Montgomery College history teacher who called me and said, you know, you are in Mr. Hill's book, which deals with segregation in Montgomery County. And in it, he mentions that I taught there in 1956, 57. Wow. And that he attributed to me the fact that I did a great deal with trying to arrest the turmoil that had occurred with parents and students who just couldn't understand segregation and integration.
And you try to picture going back to Poolesville in 1956. People still that know Montgomery County think that going to Poolesville is really going way out into the country, so to speak. It must have really been a different place.
Well, it was a rural community. It continues to be, not as much as it was, of course. Everybody knew everybody else. frankly, the blacks they had were the migrant workers, you know, who came in, and those that they sent for the integration were fantastic students, wonderful human beings. And I know I worked with a number of them to kind of assuage their concerns, and worked with the white students too, who were concerned also about their parents not wanting them to be in a classroom and justifying it through the Bible. It was interesting, Steve, because sports had something to do also with bringing the groups together. So it says something about the value of education, obviously, and that sports is a part of the well-rounded activities.
Now, I'm going to back up even further. Before you got into teaching, you embraced education at an early level, and people that are listening will also know, and picking up a slight accent that's still there, that this is not your home area originally, but you started in Massachusetts and focused on education early on. So tell us a little bit about Connie Morella before Montgomery County.
It's pretty simple. I grew up in a place called Somerville, Massachusetts, just 7 miles north of Boston, a wonderful blue-collar area. My parents were immigrants, as a matter of fact, so I'm first generation. Now I went back, when I was at Harvard this last semester, I went back to Somerville, to my old homestead, in fact, the home where I was born. It is pretty upscale now, but I think a lot of places that's happened. And so I went to the public school system, and then I went to Boston University, and then came to Washington because my husband, who also was a Boston graduate. I was going to say, what brought you down to Washington? I think it was the fact that he was going to Georgetown Law School. Okay. So we were to go to Washington temporarily. But then, like a lot of people, I fell in love with Washington. Family began to arrive, and so these are their roots and our roots in addition to where we were born.
But somewhere along the line, a fire was lit for your interest in politics. What led to you being interested in politics such that you would later go on to be a state delegate and a congresswoman?
Actually, I never quite thought about that as something that I would do as a profession or a career. But as I look back on it, I think about the fact that I was a class officer in school, so maybe that said something about liking people and wanting to lead or to serve them. But frankly, personally, my springboard came when I was appointed to the first Montgomery County Commission for Women in Montgomery County. This was in the 70s, Steve, and it was the time when we were trying to get the Equal Rights Amendment passed. And so
still working on that.
He was still working on it, I tell you. And so I lobbied for equity for women in education, housing, credit, and employment. And as a matter of fact, got our first affirmative action committee here at Montgomery College. And so then I thought, I'll have more influence if I could have a seat at the table. And so I then decided I would run for the House of Delegates.